Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Really glad to have you here. And I want to say thank you. We just hit over 10,000 on Instagram, and we're just creeping up on 300,000 on YouTube subscribers. So do that. And then also don't forget about our Patreon account. And today we have the ultimate self-snitching that we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about two particular cases. And first, there's a guy by the name of DeMarco Craig. He's also known as the Big Homie. Mr. Craig is a rapper in Detroit, and he is amazing. This is what you call the ultimate self-snitching. But looking at his conduct, I just can't even believe it. So the ATF, first of all, he's Mr. Craig, the Big Homie, is prohibited from possessing of firearms. But, so he's got a felony in his background. And we all know that you can't have a firearm or possess one if you've got a felony in your background. Prosecutors say he held a machine gun and other firearms during an Instagram video that he did live, including a Glock pistol equipped with a device, switch, which I learned from some of you guys telling me what a switch is, with a device that converted the semi-automatic firearm into a fully automatic gun. Now, Craig was held without bail, pending charges, and the reason he was held without bail is because they have also linked these firearms to a bunch of other robberies and crimes of violence. This is just absolutely amazing. On May 22nd, his account, the Big Homie _8, posted a video that shows a shirtless Craig pointing a tan loaded pistol, black Glock with an extended magazine at the camera. You can't make this up. So here's why this is a big deal. When you do that, and a lot of people say, oh, they're prop guns. Well, it doesn't matter if they're prop guns or not, because if they look real, there's a possibility that they're real, okay? And if somebody's got a violent background, it's more likely true than not true that they're real. And if you have that, that's called probable cause. Probable cause to do what? To search your home, your car, your person. Now, why am I saying this stuff? Because it's just... so let's go back to his video he posted, and you can see in this picture here that Craig then pulled the Glock away from the camera and then placed the rear of the slide in the center of the camera, showing the device, which is also illegal. Now, he was on probation for this, and you can see the pistol right here. 3 days after the Instagram video, investigators spotted Craig outside the home at the 18,000 block of Pennington Drive on Detroit's northwest side. So one of the things you can take away from this is that I think I've seen a lot of comments. The feds are watching, and I'm doing basically a PSA here. If you are in the street, if you're doing this shit, feds are watching. Don't post stuff on the internet that's going to get you fucking busted. Better yet, don't do anything that they can bust you for. But it's just, so when they see Big Homie, the agents get a search warrant. They raided his home, and they found, guess what? 6 firearms, and found what to be a modified Glock seen in the Instagram video. Wow. Unbelievable. 2 of the seized guns were stolen. Another violation. So you can just tack these up. Ballistic tests linked one of the seized firearms to a shooting since October. That includes a homicide and a double non-fatal shooting in Detroit on May 25th, several hours after the Instagram video was posted. Tests also linked the seized rifle to an April 16th shooting at a CVS in Detroit, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, investigators found a stolen 2021 Cadillac Escalade in the backyard of Craig's home. This guy, if he's going to be a criminal, he needs to go to some master's education school about being a criminal, because he's not a good one. And guess what else they found? Inside this stolen Escalade, they found a purple Los Angeles Dodgers hat, similar to the one he's seeing in the Instagram video post. So, Mr. Craig, a.k.a. Big Homie, is facing a host of shit coming his way. And I'm not saying this to be smug. I'm just saying, how does that song go? Who is Bruce Rivers? What's he going to do? Act all the self-snitching. Instagram posts are a permanent record, even if it's, and usually they do it on, on IGTV, And so this guy hung himself. Without that Instagram post, they would not have had enough to get a search warrant to raid his place. And what's more is, having all that stuff at his home is just easy pickings for the prosecutor. So they've been able to connect him to a homicide and to another shooting and to possession of all these firearms. So if I'm his lawyer, I'm thinking, oh, fuck. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. I got nothing here. The only thing you can do is try to maybe attack the search warrant. File a motion, suppression motion to attack the search warrant. Other than that, his goose is fairly cooked. And when you have these things, these crimes of violence, judge isn't going to let you out on bail, especially if it's federal. There's a presumption that the court hold you without bail till the pendency of your criminal case, and in this case, he's going to be held until his day of trial. Now, this case with Big Homie, aka Mr. Craig, was investigated by the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. It's an agency that's filled with very, very bright people. And here's the other thing. Feds are motivated AF as fuck. They're just absolutely motivated. U.S. Attorney's Office has this case. And so that makes it different than a state case in some respects, because the guidelines are going to be much higher. He's charged with, this switch, making it a fully automatic, also is an enhancement under the guidelines that really skyrocket the guidelines. But if he's looking at all these federal charges and a death on top of that, he's looking at probably a mandatory minimum of 20 years to life. So Big Homie is headed to the big house, unfortunately. Like to see him, not do so much time. I don't like to see guys go to prison. And if you're listening to this and you're a rapper and you have a record, or if you're listening to this and you're not a rapper and have a record, guess what? Your kryptonite should be a firearm, because the automatic machine guns, the difference between an automatic and semi-automatic, that's automatic, bump, pop, 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 pop. That would be semi-automatic. So you only have to pull the trigger once, and you can empty your clip for a fully auto, and then you have to pull it every time for a semi-auto. They're just not legal to have, number one, and number two, they just add so much to the guidelines if there's other offenses that you're charged with. So that's Big Homie. DaBaby was in the news recently, and 2 men have been arrested in the Miami shooting. There were 20 people injured a few days ago with a shooting at a mall at an event center in Miami, right on Ocean Boulevard. This is South Beach, my favorite area of all time. I love South Beach. I love the Versace mansion. I love having a sip of something and just relaxing and enjoying the people watching. But what I don't like the sound of is pop, 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 pop. fucking hate that. And what happened here, it was a very calculated shooting. There were 3 masked men get out of a car, so you know there's also a driver that was waiting in the car, and they go off and riddle this place with bullets. 2 people died, and 20 people were injured. So one of these people, or the 2 guys that were arrested, their names are Awute and Urena. One guy's 21 years old, the other one's 29 years old. And Wisdom Awute, a rapper who is part of the DaBaby's $1 billion baby entertainment label, and Christopher Urena, where they were arrested on Tuesday in connection with a shooting in Miami Beach. Now, before they were arrested, DaBaby was interviewed, and I'm guessing cleared, because if he wasn't cleared, he'd still be in custody. I do find it interesting, however, that that these 2 guys were arrested shortly after DaBaby's interview with the police. Are they related? I have no idea. Was he snitching? I have no idea. Doesn't matter if he is or not, because here's the other thing. Their escape, or their arrival and escape, was found was totally on surveillance. And let me talk about surveillance for a second. We live in an era where there are fucking cameras everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They're on every building downtown here. They're on every strip mall. They're in every bar. I had one case where there were like 11 cameras in this bar, and thank God there were, because I was able to exonerate my client on a murder case, because we went painstakingly through the videos. In this case, first of all, they got the van, then they got a tip. They got a tip that the van was, and they found the van submerged. Took the van back and did some forensics. We don't know what the forensics have shown yet. DaBaby was interviewed, and then these 2 guys were arrested, and my understanding is a 3rd person was arrested. Not sure who that was yet. But here's the thing. You've got 2 deaths, and you're in Florida that has a death penalty. So I hope it was worth it, because you're going to trade your life for their life, if they can prove it. Now, you've got aggravating circumstances up the wazoo with all these other. You can put an attempted murder case for each one of the people that were injured, and so you've got 20 attempted murder counts. You got 2 probably murder 1, because this was designed. This was an intentional, not a random, just pop. It wasn't just a random thing. So it's murder 1. I think it would be aggravated to the extent that it could involve the death penalty. And, my heart goes out to the people that were shot. And my advice to all you young guys out there who are thinking about carrying a weapon because it's so dangerous out there, you're better off not. There were people in that club that did return fire, but nobody hit anybody on the other side. And these guys were out there for a very small amount of time. They were there for maybe 30 seconds, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of bullets. So these guys are not going to get away. And not that I'm a prosecutor or a Fed, I see those comments every once in a while, and I just have to laugh, because these videos, some of them, are designed to educate you guys, and to prevent you from making mistakes that some of these other people have made, like a Big Homie. I mean, I had a case once where my client. Clearly, he had a felony on his record. He knew he had a felony. And then he and his girlfriend, his girlfriend sitting there, and he'd take videos of me shooting. Take videos of me shooting because I'm a felon and I want everybody to see this. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now not that I'm advocating this, but if you're gonna do that, do it in the fucking dark. Don't do it don't do it out in the open, in the light, where there's evidence of you doing it. So anyway, my heart goes out to the families that lost somebody in that Miami shooting, and big homie. I don't delight in bringing you this news, but this is what I'm talking about when I talk about self-snitching. We don't want self-snitchers, because you might as well just shoot yourself in the foot. So this has been Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe. And if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and sign up for Patreon, because we're using that money for a good cause.